really looking for as an association, obviously on the path of professionalizing this league in the near future. So yeah, I want to start by congratulating all the nominees. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision. We also struggled internally, trying to come up with the top 3 of our, the people who eventually got to be shortlisted, and the eventual winner. Obviously, the clubs are the ones who will tell you more of the story. We are in an unfortunate position where we don't get to broadcast all the women's games. Unfortunately, we are not there yet, but we are on that path. We're trying to give as many teams, as many players as possible, the exposure so that they can be seen, for the quality players that they are. But I'm sure that as the league continues to grow and it gets more broadcast time, we will unearth many more gems, in that league, the rough diamonds, the likes of, Lorna from UWC. We get to see more of them. At the moment, unfortunately, there are teams that do not get that much exposure because obviously the budget, involved in terms of getting our league, that broadcast space. But it's something that we are working on, and hopefully in the near future we will get there. Yeah. So I want to also, before I continue, happy birthday. Oh. It's her birthday, by the way. So I had to put her on the spot. We have to recognize these things, guys. I follow a lot, everything that happens on social media. I follow it a lot. They say, when do you get the time? It's because it's my passion. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Anyone who speaks about women's football, I'm there. Women's football is where I dreamed that it would be as a player, back in the days, playing for Social River All Stars, playing for Wits, Ladies FC, and also eventually Soweto Ladies. We were just there, but we wanted to, to reach, the kind of exposure that women's football is getting now. And we are really envious of what's happening in women's football, but obviously we are at the forefront as well of pushing that women's football gets more exposure. It's a journey. It's a journey, and I want to commend Safja, for the great work you've done, coming on board, and also, giving these awards to our players. It's recognition that the players not only deserve, but they worked for. 90 minutes in football, I know what 90 minutes feels like. When you've got blood in your chest, but you can't afford to tone down because your team is probably losing, or you have to hold on to a lead. That 90 minutes is very intense. The 90 minutes that a men's football plays is the same intensity that a 90 minutes that a women's football player plays. It's difficult, and eventually when we talk about pay parity, we have to think about those things. But obviously pay parity can't happen overnight. It's something that will also happen as the league gets more exposure, Banyana gets more exposure, more of our players get known, they get more endorsements so that they can make a living out of football. Currently, we all know that the league is not professional, the Hollywood Bed Super League. We have players that are students. They still have to study. We have players that work. And when I say work, I don't mean playing football. I mean they're working in an office somewhere, or they're working in a factory somewhere. And then when they finish, they have to rush and go train and still make the team on the Saturday, still travel to there are on the weekend, to play Richmond away. So our players still are going through a lot. We want to see, where I am right now, I want to see women's football in a better place, where our women, they are more comfortable playing for their clubs. They're more comfortable traveling to the next game. They're more comfortable, in everything that they do. They can actually make a living out of football. It's not about, this is something that I'm doing on the side, and it's more of a hobby, and I have to find work somewhere else. But this is a journey. Like I said, it's a journey, and hopefully, before some of us, pack up from this earth, it's something that would have been achieved. And something that drives me a lot is because I've got girl children. You know, I've got twin girls. Should they ever decide to play football, I want to leave football in a better place where they can actually enjoy themselves. They don't have to worry about getting from here to Eastern Cape or the weekend game. Those kind of things really matter, but it's about us getting more exposure from the journalists, obviously, and that exposure translates to more fans knowing about women's football, not only Banyana, but the Hollywood Bed Super League as well, and other, you know, competitions, women's football competitions that are happening. And that also translates into PR value that we're getting. You know, if we're getting more PR value, I've got something that I can take to Hollywood Bets and say, look, we're giving you a lot of value from this league, so can you up the money? So, so you know, that is the ammunition you need when you approach a sponsor to say, okay, come on board, come sponsor this league, and they're going to say, what is the return on investment that I'm going to get? So you have to prove what kind of value that they're going to be getting from putting their money into the league. And I have to commend Hollywood Bets. You know, I do it often, but you are lifesavers for this league. You know, yeah, a round of applause. You're doing a tremendous job in what you're putting on the table for us to run this league. The South African Football Association obviously started this league from nothing, very heavily dependent on, you know, the 2010 legacy trust, which has now, it's no longer there. So obviously, you know, we have to scrape around for funding so that we can continue this league. But Hollywood Bets has been really tremendous in terms of the funding that they're giving us. But obviously, we're looking for more because that's not sufficient. We want to, like I'm saying, we want to make our footballers more comfortable. We want them not to worry about how to get to Eastern Cape or to tomorrow, but that means more funding into the league. So that's going to come from more exposure, like Billy is saying, you know, more exposure. The future of football, whether we like it or not, is feminine. If you see what's happening in Europe, you will see what I'm talking about. The crowds, you know, the record-breaking crowds that have been attending the Euros, women's Euros, the UEFA Champions League for the women, you know, friendly international matches between USA and England, sold out. You know, if you saw the AFCON last year in Morocco, the turnout, you know, I mean, I was there for the final. When we got there were like thousands of people outside. But I thought, you know, maybe these people are like us at home. We want to arrive when the game has already kicked off. You know, I get into the stadium, it's already packed. It's already packed. And I'm thinking, where are all those people outside gonna sit? Because it's just so many people. You know, you can see that people want to see more women's football. Just last week, I went to watch Tuks versus